Trump is trying to deploy the military in the United States of America, there's also some troublesome signs that he might be deploying the rest of the military to Iran. Earlier this morning, some new information came out that is very alarming. The Washington Post reports that U.S. intelligence officials have grown increasingly concerned that Israel may choose to strike Iran's nuclear facilities without the consent of the United States. They usually reveal this stuff right before they usually reveal this stuff ahead of time so that Israel can't actually do it. They'll even leak like detailed plans or whatever to thwart Israel's attempts, or basically come out and say like, nope, we don't want you to do this, and then Israel actually stops itself from doing it, right? But I think the American government issued an order to withdraw diplomats and family members of military personnel in the region. U.S. is withdrawing diplomats from Iraq and personnel from other sites in the region amid rising tensions with Iran. Okay, did you see the TikTok of you being objectified at the protests? Yes, I did. It's very funny. Hassan Pike me. I did. Anyway, let's get back to the serious stuff, okay? Significant developments tonight in the Middle East as the United States prepares for a partial evacuation of the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. The State Department has also authorized non-essential personnel and dependents to voluntarily leave Bahrain and Kuwait. Important to note that these are precautionary moves during an already tense time in the region. Check and verify all the information you see circulating online in the days ahead. And also, the reason for why this is happening is because there's an ongoing back and forth. With the Iran denuclearization agreement. But it seems like Israel keeps thwarting those attempts, both openly and also privately. And America maybe doesn't really have, or even the Trump administration doesn't really have any ambitions of allowing Iran to enrich uranium at the civilian level and allow them to have a nuclear grid. I think people see Axios headlines about negotiation breakthroughs and they don't understand what exactly America is proposing. Iran is being asked to give up its uranium enrichment, even its ability to conduct nuclear research, literally for nothing, not even sanctions relief. Okay? Like, that is the maximalist goal that America has. Understandably, Iran is going to say no to that. Why the fuck would they say yes to that? The best possible outcome here is basically reinforcing the Obama era Iran denuclearization agreement, which Israel despises. And seemingly the Trump administration has no ambition to push for this. And here is Iranian response, by the way. Iran defense minister said this morning that if nuclear talks fail and conflict breaks out, Iran will strike American bases in the region without consideration for who the host country is or not, and will ensure the Americans suffer more casualties. Wait, hold on. I'm going to start it from the start. Okay. He says, I want to say this on behalf of the Iranian nation and on behalf of the armed forces. I don't know why I increased the volume. God willing, things won't go that far, and the talks will come to fruition. If they don't and a conflict is imposed on us, then certainly the other side will suffer more casualties than us. In that case, America must leave the region because all its bases are within our reach. We can reach them, and we will target all of them in their host countries without any consideration. Now, this instability in the talks is a unique opportunity for Israel to basically strike while the iron is hot. As you know, they are a belligerent force in the region that are insane, that want to open up the last front of war, the ultimate front of war, a war against Iran, the only massive power, the only regional power that actually threatens Israel's ethnic cleansing and domination in the region by way of offering logistics, supplies, training to all of the militancy against Israel, including but not limited to Hamas, and also obviously Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the IRGC troops that are stationed or used to be stationed in Iraq and used to be stationed in Syria. And also, of course, how could we forget the Ansar Allah militancy, the Ansar Allah movement coming out of Yemen. It is the only country in the region that is not openly cooperative and willing to play ball with Israel's violence, with American intervention. Now, for that reason, Israel has always seen Iran as the golden calf that must be taken out. Hassan, stop, bro. The Iranian regime is a joke. This is not about the Iranian regime or its domestic affairs at all. That's not what I'm talking about currently. I'm simply talking about state power at this point. It has nothing to do with the domestic affairs of Iran. This is not about the regime. Iran could be the most secular socialist nation on the planet. My assessment would be the same, but I suspect your assessment would also be the same, regardless of their politics. It could be the most woke nation on the planet, and you probably would still have the same assessment, because this is not the criticisms against Iran's domestic affairs or the fucking backwards, super fundamentalist attitudes that its administration has is utterly irrelevant in this calculation. Okay? It's simply a way for people to say, oh, it seems like you care about Iran. You love Iran because you love fucking, I don't know, fundamentalist attitudes. You're an Islamist. Anyway, Israel wants to strike Iran, knowing full well that Iran will, of course, retaliate in kind. Iran is the only regional power that has the ambition and the military prowess to be able to respond to Israel in violent retaliation. Okay? They have demonstrated as such earlier this past year, if you recall. They've been able to penetrate all of the Arrow and what is it, like David Slingshot or whatever, like all the different missile systems that Israel has, and even U.S. Central Command cooperating with all the allied forces in the region to thwart Iranian missiles and intercept them and stop them from penetrating the Iron Dome and the Israeli security umbrella. They failed. They hit Tel Aviv. That was a major fucking blow to the collective. It was a major blow to Israel, thinking that they can continue conducting their affairs in the ways that they are without any sort of retaliation whatsoever. Having said that, Israel, I think, wants to, knowing full well that Iran will retaliate, I think Israel wants to strike Iran and have the American government come to bail them out. This is the final ambition of Israel. Okay? Here is Donald Trump talking about how little confidence he has in making a deal with Iran.
So, Camp David, you were just there, and you with the generals and the admirals and Marco Rubio. What were you talking about?
Well, I can't tell you exactly, but it was in pleasure. Without discussing anything, look, we had a meeting, a very important meeting, and really talked about many subjects.
Iran, Ukraine,
one
Russia.
of them were, all of that. It's all big topics, especially when you have generals and admirals.
Do you think you're going to be able to stop Iran from enriching its?
I don't know. I did think so, and I'm getting more and more less confident about it. They seem to be delaying, and I think that's a shame. But I'm less confident now than I would have been a couple of months ago. Something happened to them, but I am much less confident of a deal being made. I would have said,
what could it be? Chat, what could it be? First of all, these guys are diplomats who are self-interested in survival, okay? I wonder what could have caused Iran to be less confident in American assurances. The very fact that they're even entertaining a back and forth conversation with Donald Trump, who very famously fucked over Iran, even though Iran was literally following the Barack Obama denuclearization agreement after Donald Trump ripped it apart, and even after he actually fucking implemented sanctions, regardless of the fact that they still kept continuing to abide by the standards set. I wonder how Iran would be suspicious. Perhaps it might have something to do with the fact that you brought Steve Witkoff into the fucking region, talked to Hamas directly, and then lied to Hamas directly, okay, about offering assurances that aid would flow through into the Gaza Strip as long as Hamas released Idan Alexander, the American-Israeli dual citizen who was a military captive. He was a prisoner of war. And then what happened? Because the talks were being had in the background, while that was the Iranian denuclearization agreement was being flushed out, while the Trump administration stupidly fucked over Hamas. I wonder if that played a role in making Iran feel as though you are not on board with honoring any sort of agreement, but instead you're just simply looking for any opportunity you can to potentially send in troops to the region and defend Israel. That could be one of the reasons
that a deal would be made.
Something happened to
By the way, that is spectacularly stupid statecraft right there. Okay? What they did to Hamas, where Hamas was so desperate, where they were like, all right, we'll trust the Americans. They're talking to us directly. They're cutting Israel out of the equation. Everybody in the region knows Israel is the spoiler in this negotiation. And maybe because of the way that Israel is perceived globally, like Americans will finally do the right thing and get Israel to fucking back away, step down. Maybe America will finally stop its genocide, because this is not just Israel's genocide, this is America's genocide as well. But maybe America, being one step removed from the ethnic cleansing campaign, will perhaps be a little bit more restrained. Turns out, no, the fuck they aren't interested in that at all. They're still willing to sick Israel as America's attack dog on everyone in the fucking region. So of course, the Iranian envoys would be a little bit more restrained from coming to the table and abiding by whatever deal that they're trying to present, especially when the deal that they're trying to present is a maximalist one.
No, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
like
I really,
China
I
talked them out
have
of it?
instincts about things.
You think China talked them out of it?
No, I don't think China has anything to do with it. I just think maybe they don't want to make a deal. What can I say? And maybe they do.
So what does that
mean? There's
mean?
nothing final.
What happens then?
Well, if they don't make a deal, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
If they do make a deal, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon too, but they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. So it's not going to matter from that standpoint, but it would be nicer to do it without warfare, without people dying.
Yeah.
It's so much nicer to do it. But I don't think I see the same level of enthusiasm for them to make a deal. I think they're making a
I don't think Israel carries U.S. intentions. I think it's the other way around. What is this? An Iranian source told Al Mayadeen any Israeli military action against Iranian nuclear facilities will be met with an unprecedented response from Tehran. PSYOPs on steroids? What is this? This is not a do-it-then-explain scenario where Israel carries out a surprise attack on Iran despite U.S. refusal and forces the U.S. to come into its protection. It's the U.S. who is delegating Israel to attack Iran on his behalf, sponsor surrogate. Yeah, I think so too. Former U.S. official tells me this is what we would do if we or Israel were about to go kinetic. In recent months, U.S. intelligence officials have grown increasingly concerned that Israel might choose to strike Iran's nuclear facilities without the U.S., without the consent of the United States. U.S. shrinks presence in the Middle East amid fears of Israeli strike on Iran. Israel needs U.S. tankers to actually reach Iran. Israel also needs the U.S. to defend Israel when Iran retaliates to Israel. Do you think Iran's got Israel's nuclear documents, or is Iran playing it up, bluffing? Buy Saudi oil tanks. I mean, Saudi oil is cooked in the process. That I think is a much that I think is a response that universalizes the pain. And I suspect that Iran is holding out on that, lighting all of the oil refineries on fire for a special occasion. What will the Trump supporters say? Why is this dipshit always in fucking... Why is this fucking asshole always having fun when, like, shit's popping off? He was at the UFC when, like, he was like, I'm sending the National Guard. Now he's at the fucking Kennedy Center in a tuxedo, while the world might actually collapse in and of itself. What?
Question on the musical. Have you seen the musical before, and do you identify more with Jean Valjean or Javert?
Oh, that's a tough one. That last part of that question, that's tough, I think. You better You better answer that one, honey.
Is it too loud? I can't tell. What is happening? Is it actually loud? Because on my end, it doesn't seem like it's loud.
I don't know.
It's quiet.
I've seen it. We've seen it a number of times. It's fantastic. I thought it was just about our first choice. That's what we got. And we have others coming. Other great ones are coming.
Phantom of the Opera.
I would, but I don't think China. We're very happy with it. We have everything we need, and we're going to do very well with it, and hopefully they are too. That was a very big one. As you know, we did with the UK, and I tell you what, we're rocking in terms of deals. Now, at a certain point, we're just going to send letters out, and I think you understand that, saying this is the deal. You can take it or you can leave it. You don't have to use it. You don't have to shop in the United States, as I say. So at a certain point, we'll do that. We're not quite ready. We're dealing with quite a few countries, and they all want to make a deal with us, every one of them.
Who's next? Who are you expecting to deal with next?
Well, we're dealing with Japan. We're dealing with South Korea. We're dealing with a lot of them. We're dealing with about 15 countries, but as you know, we have about 150 plus, and you can't do that. So we're going to be sending letters out in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, to countries, telling them what the deal is.
The chatter that asks, do you think he pleases her in bed, is insane.
Right now, you were unhappy with them about 10 days ago.
Well, I'll let you know in about a week. They do want to negotiate, I will say that. Thank you.
Mr. President, to make the theater great again.
We are, Brian, and I'm glad you're here.
Glad to be here. What does it mean to be here tonight, now that it's under your administration? You're bringing class back, the golden era of theater.
We have a golden era here in the country. You see the trade numbers came in today. They're fantastic. The deficit was cut in half over a period of 2 months. We cut what they tried to destroy our country. They were destroying our country. And you saw how good the numbers were. We took in $88 billion in tariffs in 2.5 months, and that we didn't even start yet. No, we're bringing the country back fast, and I'm very proud to have helped Los Angeles survive. Los Angeles right now, if we didn't do what we did, would be burning to the ground. And that's not over yet. You know, these are radical left lunatics that you're dealing with. And they're tough, they're smart, they're probably paid, many of them, as you know. They're professionals. When you see them chopping up concrete, because the bricks got captured, they're chopping up concrete and they're using that as a weapon. That's pretty bad, and thank you very much for your question.
You're a New Yorker. You've been to 1 billion theaters. Do you remember your first theater production?
What are these questions, man? We're going to war with Iran. Why is everyone in the media not asking, hey, what the fuck are you doing here? What the fuck are you doing here? You deployed the troops in Los Angeles. You're trying to fucking spark chaos domestically while there's potentially an international incident that is 5 seconds to midnight, and you're over here asking him questions about like, oh, Mr. President, who gave you this suit? It looks so good. Tonight, upon leaving the White House, when asked by the press why the dependents of U.S. military personnel are being authorized to leave the Middle East, Mr. President says, you'll have to see, thank you. What? You'll have to see, thank you. We're actually leaving the Middle East. We're leaving it. We're no longer defending Israel. That's right. Many of you said to me, Mr. President, you are not a real MAGA communist. I told them I'm Maoist Don. I'm JD Pandan. We're pulling out of the Middle East. We're pulling out. No more defense of Israel. Enough is enough. You'll have to see. Bye-bye. The real surprise is I talked to the Ayatollah. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Very funny hat. Very cool guy. I'm pulling out just like Elon should have pulled out 13 times, but he didn't because he's crazy. He's got so many kids. Elon, I'm pulling out of the region. Bye-bye, Israel. They said, I will restore the 12 imams, and the new caliphate will be Shia. The future of Islam is Shia. That's right. I'm doing an executive order to celebrate Nowruz. That's right. They call it Nowruz. It's the new year. Many of you thought I got money from the Gulf states, so I wanted to do Sunni Islam. I only want Shia Islam. It's jihad summer, as Laura Loomer said. Isn't she a foxy woman? Oh, Melania's right next to me, but she's a foxy. Melania also agrees. Laura Loomer said it's the summer of jihad. Salman Rushdie. He's in the back of my car. He's in the trunk. He's kidnapped. We took him. We're giving him directly to the Ayatollah. That's right. Salman Rushdie, bye-bye. No more books. We're sending him. And I am issuing a fatwa myself on Salman Rushdie. God, I enjoy it so much. I enjoy Iranian Trump. Shia supremacist Trump. Yeah. Senior advisor to the Iran Supreme National Council claims Iran has obtained a trove of Israeli intelligence documents. A trusted media advisor to Iran's top security body has posted details of what Iran alleges to be a massive Israeli intelligence breach, including nuclear secrets, internal Mossad files, and blackmail material allegedly used by Netanyahu's office. The claims have yet to be verified and documents have yet to be released for a public review. Oh, this is too good to be true. It's too good to be true. When I see stuff like this, I'm like, no shot, you know? The claims, but the source, a known media proxy, is often used by Iranian authorities to release sensitive information before official acknowledgement. According to the thread, Iran now possesses Israel's 4-year nuclear development roadmap, including plans for military nuclear facilities, infrastructure, and technical processes, classified details on U.S. weapons imports to Israel, along with storage locations, records of large bribes paid to 4 prominent Arab figures to support the Abraham Accords, complete intelligence profiles of 23 senior Israeli spies, including their contacts across the region, personal data of 6 million users across Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Telegram, sensitive infrastructure plan on Israeli electricity, water, telecom, postal, transport, and health systems, files on 400,000 legal cases, including criminal, judicial, police, and intelligence-related cases, detailed information on Israeli prisons and prisoners, including charges and classifications, personal files on Benjamin Netanyahu and his wife, covering medical records, legal complaints, bribery allegations, and threats used to silence accusers, 6 4-terabyte hard drives, and 1,720 pages of secret documents from Netanyahu's private office, portions of Mossad's classified archives, private surveillance data on Netanyahu's political opponents, including hidden cameras placed in their homes and hacked data from their phones and laptops, allegedly used for blackmail, thousands of high-resolution aerial images of Israeli cities, ports, and key infrastructure, over 40,000 hours of of CCTV footage from secure political, military, and government sites, a banned recording of a heated Knesset debate involving Netanyahu, reportedly erased from official Israeli archives. We'll be tracking this closely and updating as more details emerge. Bro, this would be, oh my God, this would be the real nuke if this was... No shot, it's real. This seems so incredible. They can't release it unless they fully verify all files, because if files contain stolen, hacked Iran documents, then they would be shooting themselves in the foot. Even if they drip fed like a fraction of this information, oh my God. Oh my God. This is the real content nuke, dude. Holy fuck. Oh my God. I think it would nuke my libido because I would nut so hard. Okay? I would have no more cummies left in my body. Giga nut. This is crazy though. Like, think before you talk sometimes. Sorry. Dude, do it to us next. Iran, please. Inshallah, one day. Jail for Hassan. To be fair, I don't know if this is just a regular old hater or someone who's saying that after my commentary in the last second. Either way, it's valid. Do you think this changes anything? I'm cynical with everything Israel gets away with so far. This would explain the change in negotiation attitude that Trump spoke about. I mean, this is like this kind of, everyone's asking me like, oh, are you going to go to the No Kings protest? There might not be a king left. Iran might be doing the No Kings protest itself if this trove of data is real. Even if even if one of these 15 bullet points is real, it's explosive. Nothing that they have revealed here, not a single one of these is negligible. Maybe this, like classified details on U.S. weapon imports to Israel, but even then, that's huge. Iran hasn't revealed the documents it claims to have obtained, but some Iranian sources say they include intel on secret Israeli nuclear sites allegedly hidden under civilian infrastructure. One report allegedly mentions a site storing 89 nuclear bombs. Meanwhile, Netanyahu convened a high-level Iran meeting today, including Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, just after a call with Trump. Tensions are ratcheting up. It will be key to see if Iran's counter-proposal is enough for another round of talks. I mean, it would be the most like Iranian thing to basically have all of this information, never reveal it, and use it to their own advantage to get Trump to say, you have to let us enrich uranium instead of just leaking at least some of it. You know what I mean? Even if it was fucking real, which again, we don't know, but it would be totally, it would be totally in line with what Iran has done so far to just be like, hey, you can keep doing the ethnic cleansing and stuff, like honestly, but like, please don't, you know, please don't bomb us and we will not release it. If it was real. Had a convo with an army yesterday and they were able to rationalize the property damage as an extent of human damage argument. Thank you for the talking point. You're welcome. People are talking about how Israel will ask about the U.S., but I think this is an attempt by Netanyahu to declare martial law. His coalition is falling apart due to the drafting of the Haredim and the genocide. And unless martial law is declared, Netanyahu's coalition may fall apart and he'll go to jail for his corruption case. I don't even think it's just about the corruption case necessarily. I think Netanyahu is leaving a permanent mark by being a willing participant in America's grand design in the region. Like, the corruption stuff is just added on. The corruption stuff is like, yeah, sure, it's an additional personal ambition, but I don't know if that's as important in Netanyahu's calculation. As Netanyahu looks for ways to keep the walls from closing in, don't be surprised if he reaches for gimmicks or more desperate measures like a war with Iran. Netanyahu's coalition teeters as ultra-Orthodox allies threaten to dissolve parliament. Wait, what? IAEA chief says information stolen by Iran refers to Israeli nuclear research site in the first outside confirmation of Tehran's claims to have obtained a vast trove of Israeli intelligence. Grossi says documents seem to refer to Sorek nuclear research facility. The head of the International Atomic Energy said Monday that the information Iran claimed it seized regarding Israel's nuclear program seems to refer to the country's Sorek nuclear research center, the first acknowledgement outside of Tehran of the theft. The Prime Minister's office had no immediate response to the remarks. Who spoke during a news conference in Vienna. The alleged theft comes at a time of renewed tensions over Iran's nuclear program, which enriches uranium, a short technical step away from weapons grade level. I mean, this isn't like a confirmation of the leak necessarily. It's just a confirmation that a breach took place. He did not elaborate on where he received the information, though IAEA maintains a confidential reporting system for nations to report security incidents involving their nuclear programs. Sorek, located 20 kilometers south of Tel Aviv, is a national laboratory for nuclear science established in Israel in 1958, engaged in nuclear science, radiation safety, and applied physics. I mean, yeah. This is the real content nuke, for sure. What if it's not real and we are the ones faking it to start a war? No, this wouldn't be reason to go to war with Iran. But the fact that U.S. troops are preparing departure from Iraq, and the U.S. Embassy is preparing for departure from Iraq, and the family staff, non-essential embassy staff and families are also being authorized to leave U.S. missions in Bahrain and Kuwait, is definitely a signal that things might heat up. Iran's defense minister Aziz Nazirzadeh warned that if the U.S. launched an attack on Iran, Tehran would retaliate by striking U.S. bases across the region, saying, if a conflict is imposed on us, all U.S. bases are within our reach, and we will boldly target them in host countries. On Tuesday, CENTCOM head General Michael Eric Kurilla told Congress that he has provided President Trump and the Pentagon with a wide range of options. Dude, by the way, any sort of escalated conflict between Iran, Israel, and the United States of America is entirely in the hands of Donald Trump and is yet another glaringly obvious example for all of those fucking dumbass Trump supporters to eat it, because it's yet another glaringly obvious example, perhaps the most significant escalation of tensions, more so than like Ukraine and Israel doing a genocide in Gaza combined, okay, if you were to say Joe Biden is to blame for those two, this would be such a ginormous spectacle and so costly in terms of human life that it would look like nothing. It would look like a blip. And it's all because of Donald Trump's idiotic way of managing the situation, which is still a continuation of like the Democratic Party as well, because American foreign policy is uniparty. But someone had to fucking, you know, put the brakes on this shit. Mr. Peaceful Dove thought he was going to, you know, said he was going to do it. Yeah. Iran's greatest power here, and this chatter is right, is not even striking Israel. Okay? Iran could fucking wipe out Tel Aviv, and that wouldn't be as consequential for America, okay? However, if Iran wipes out the oil refineries in the entire region and creates a global oil crisis, that in and of itself is, I don't even know what that would be. I don't know if you can call that fucking World War III, you know? Hasan, you went out sad? What do you mean? What did I do? First fucking chat in the chat. That is an international, there's a global event. Hasan, don't worry. We'll find out the truth next time Hexeth adds his fucking mailman or grandmother or another top secret chat just for the hell of it. And yeah, even the back and forth has caused oil prices to surge on fears of escalation in the Middle East. As of 1:39 today, only a couple hours ago, holy moly. Would China get involved in this? I mean, if there was a global event, yes, China would have to intervene. This touches everyone. Iran's real nuclear option is not hitting Israel, and is certainly not hitting American bases in fucking Iraq, okay? Understand, hitting American bases in Iraq is, as far as order of priority, the lowest order of priority in terms of Iranian retaliation is killing a couple troops in Iraq. This is America's calculation, not mine. Okay? An increasingly more worrisome prospect would be if Iran struck Tel Aviv and killed like Israeli civilians. That would still be not as consequential from America's calculation as crippling the Israeli nuclear facilities or crippling like Israel in its entirety in a very significant manner that disrupts America's grand design in the region. But the actual nuclear option here would be to blow up the oil refineries in the region. If Iran were to light the oil refineries in the region on fire, this would cause complete collapse. This would be a global affair. Why aim at Tel Aviv when Saudi Arabia is closer? Oman? Wait, what? What do you mean, why aim at Tel Aviv? Like, ultimately, they are still a major pressure point for America. They play a more significant role than even Saudi Arabia does in America's affairs in the region. If Iran wipes out the oil, I think all American allied countries will band together to invade, wipe out Iran to maintain the peace. Don't you think so? Who will step in to defend Iran? China. Iran is China's power player in this region, in the way that Saudi Arabia is for America. And normally China is incredibly restrained, sometimes to a fault, but this would also collapse the Chinese industry and would cause severe economic harm to China. Because if Iran blows up and their refining capabilities are destroyed, then that hurts China. It hurts Russia too, but it's China is the more significant party. Obviously, Russia has its own affairs to deal with. Pentagon Pizza Index is spiking. I don't think this is real anymore. The Pentagon Pizza Index is no longer a real. I don't think it's a real thing any longer. I think they fixed it. No, this, for the chatters that don't know, back in the day, in times of crisis, people could identify that things were afoot when the pizza places near the Pentagon would have increased like unimaginable activity you know, because everyone is, it's like the Waffle House index for natural disasters. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, they're not allowed to order into the buildings anymore. They have to pick up. There's a guy for the United States and China. Make your biggest haters your biggest customers. Sigma mindset. Hashtag masculinity. Hashtag daily grind. Hashtag Sigma grindset. Yeah, Venezuelan oil would look a lot tastier if the entire development capabilities of Iran and Saudi Arabia were just fucking wiped out. China is Saudi Arabia's largest oil customer. No way China will stand with Iran if they attack Saudi oil. China is Saudi Arabia's largest oil customer right now. But the reason why China also wanted to implement a fucking peace negotiation with Iran and Saudi Arabia, which they did successfully implement before October 7, was because they were still getting oil from Saudi Arabia. They were worried about Iran blowing up their oil refineries. But if push came to shove and America were to create two separate poles and engage in like hot war with China, then China's oil supplier would no longer be Saudi Arabia. It would most likely be Iran. Now, I don't know. Nothing ever happens, right? Who knows? I always have this mindset that like things are too good for many Americans. Yeah, Iran blowing up the oil fields is a trap car, but it's also probably suicidal. China doesn't tolerate fucking up the bag. I don't know if anyone will. Blowing up the oil supply will probably turn the world against Iran. Yeah. But I think China also thinks in decades or even centuries. And in their long-term strategy, I think Iran plays an important strategic role, both as a regional partner that can help them develop security alongside their supply chains, but also as a natural energy provider. What is this? If there was pending American military action, the signs would be from Diego Garcia and carrier group deployments, not some medium-level embassy alerts. You would see a very large number of transport flights moving military harbor in the region. We saw that for weeks before the October strike. That doesn't mean it's impossible anything will happen, but Twitter has correctly predicted 500 of the past 2 American attacks on the region. Level-headedness and skepticism are better tools than hurting towards groupthink. Your most iconic fit gets rated by Sarah Jessica Parker.
Rapid fire.
Wow, that's a name I heard a lot in my house.
What do you think? This is one of the worst outfits I've ever seen.
Pinstripes is very dandy. What does it say? Make the rich.
Horrific
Rich
what
pay.
this guy's wearing. I can't stand it,
Wow.
personally.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's crap.
He's got skinny legs.
No!
Fashion police. Okay.
No, no.
No! Fuck you, Adam! Adam, you fucking bitch. Dude, you have to show a sexy photo of me now. What the hell? I love Sex in the City. I texted him, I can't believe you showed SJP that photo. I will not hide you anymore.
Last one. This is a full circle moment.
Okay.
This is gonna get picked up. It's time. Let's.
Yeah, that's right. Hiding card revoked. The president of women just cooked you, dog. I know. SJP, Students for Justice in Palestine, but also Sarah Jessica Parker. This is crazy. This is crazy. Oh my God. She's the president of white women. Yes. Oh God. Maybe nothing ever happens. Who knows? You know? Who knows, chat? You hold the cards. What is this? Good timeline. Hasan day off. Yeah, I'm not taking a fucking day off tomorrow. Are you kidding me? I don't think you understand what happens when I take a fucking day off. Also, as far as the other dude's analysis, the Twitter guy who's like, oh, will there be carrier strike groups moving in the region? It's like, isn't there already a fuck ton of carrier strike groups in the region since October 7? So, you know.
With our orders.
All right. U.S. military in Los Angeles can temporarily detain protesters, says the commander.
Directed by the president, the Secretary of Defense has mobilized. Right now it's 4,700 personnel, so 4,000 from the California National Guard, 700 Marines. And our mission is to